Okay, so I'm talking about the best blog event ever that I ever went to, and it would have had to been when I did some work with Toyota. I was what they call an influencer, and I was invited to go to the Woman in the World Summit. I didn't know what the hell this thing was. All I knew was that, I'm not gonna lie, as a blogger, you get to do some really fun stuff. And a lot of times when these companies invite you to go to stuff, like you're getting the utmost treatment. I'm from New York. I'm from Long Island, New York. And I think people have this notion in their head that when you're from Long Island, you're from like a rich area, you live in the Hamptons. No, it's not all like that. And most of us Long Island folks, we're not just going into the city every day, like unless we work there. You know what I mean? Going into the city is expensive. So getting to go to the city on the flip side of really living the life, you tend to enjoy that. So, I got off the plane, I'm in Manhattan now, and I meet Phaedra from All Things Phaedra. She is so cool. And we get to the Hudson Hotel, and we didn't have a lot of time. We had to get dressed, and we went to Lincoln Center, which was right down the street. Oh my God. I don't know what I thought Woman in the World was. I knew it was probably some event, about world things, and I'm not exactly the most political person, and I care about like issues, that affect us, but I'm not like all into all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I'm just not. So we get there and we get our little badges and we got our tickets and everything, and like we have our little Toyota badges on, and we're in the Toyota tech room with some of the recipients of this Toyota Moms of Invention Award. And the first person I see, and you may not be familiar with him, but if you're like class of 2000 like I was and you watch 106 in Park, you remember Free and AJ. Well, I think AJ hosts like Entertainment Tonight or Extra, I don't know, one of those entertainment shows. I see him, they had like a step and pose, because basically this thing was like celebrity ridden. You had like Angelina Jolie, Gail King, Oprah Winfrey, Marilyn, what's her name? Meryl Streep. I mean, this was like big. It was the opening night. It was like the who's who of everybody was there. And I'm just standing there because I'm like, oh my God, they had it roped off, and we got the step. We're standing behind the step and pose, which means like we have a really great view, and we're where all the people want to be. So we walk into the Lincoln Center, the hall, and we sit down, and I really start realizing like, wow, this is major. It was an amazing event, and I have a blog post on Army Wife 101 if you want to read it. I'll put the link to that. So I want to say it was the next night. No, yeah, it was the next night because we went to this party that night in the hall. They had like an eating thing there, and I mean, it was like top notch, like shindig. Like I was sitting next to like the COO or whoever, I don't know, of the NRA. No, not the National Rifle Association. What's that radio thing? The NBA. I don't know. I'll put a link to that too. But I was sitting next to somebody really important, along with the girls that we came with, the four girls. It was Layla from Don't Speak Guyanese, Phaedra, and oh gosh, I can't. Suki is her name, I believe. I can't remember her blog, but I'm gonna put it. So we went to that. Oh my God! So we went, hung out and everything. It was great. Next night, they're like, you're going to this party at the United Nations. It's Diane von Furstenberg's awards. Everybody, if you are into fashion, I'm not even a fashion junkie, but everybody should know who Diane von Furstenberg is. I mean, like, she's like an icon. She's famous for the wrap dress. She's like the end-all, be-all of icons in fashion, okay? So we go to this party, okay? It's not even a huge party. It's not like we had to stand behind any red tape. It's not like, we weren't anybody. This was a huge party. There was Jessica Alba, the girl Elizabeth Smart, I want to say her name is, or maybe no, JC Dugard. I think she was like taken hostage and kept in hostage in captivity for some years. Nancy Pelosi. I mean, so okay, my fat ass, my greedy ass. We're all sitting there, and this is like a hobsnob of a party. You have like models. They only eat like a cube of cheese and drink wine or something. And I see my fat ass sees all this food sitting there. I'm talking about huge shrimp, couscous, pork. I mean, just like it was like a hodgepodge of food, and people weren't really eating this. Who wastes all that good? I mean, it was like you're talking thousands of dollars worth of good food. So we're like, well, hey, we're gonna go over there, and we got our food, and we're tearing this food up because we were so damn hungry. So we're sitting at this table because at first, we got there and it wasn't any red tape or rope you stood behind, but they had certain areas for certain people. So we were feeling like, like gosh, we're probably at the low end of the totem pole here. But then it seemed like those table numbers and stuff didn't really matter because everybody was walking around hobnobbing. And when I say this was in the United Nations building, you're over like Midtown Manhattan. Like all I could think about was like the movie Boomerang. I was just like, oh my god, I'm like, this is like, I'm in Midtown Manhattan in the United Nations building at a Diane von Furstenberg party. So we're sitting there, we're just talking, we're trying to posture up and, look like we're somebody. And I turn around and I do a double take and fucking Oprah Winfrey is standing behind me. Now let me just clarify. When I say she's standing behind us and me, she's not, standing 30 feet away with security and you can't get around her. She's standing behind me talking to one person. And everybody who says, oh, this is what I would do if I met this person. No, you really wouldn't. Because I was just, like, you couldn't breathe. It's Oprah. And because of the environment, you're almost like, you want to say something. You want to take advantage of that opportunity that she's not surrounded by security. But it was almost one of those things I felt like if I want to lunge to try to talk to her, security would like come out the floor or out the wall or something. So we just stood there. I remember we're just all sitting at the table, like our eyes are big, and we're darting around and we're looking around. I mean, like this party. I mean, I walked around. Nancy Pelosi was just walking around, and I so badly wanted to bother these people, but you really don't want to bother them because you feel like a nobody. But let me just tell you, if there was ever motivation, and that's like the short version of the story because I'm at 6 minutes and 36 seconds. If there's ever motivation for being a blogger and to continue blogging, this is why I love my job. You're talking about top-notch treatment. You will never, unless you do something in that sector or somebody of important fame or whatever, you will never just get invited to a party at the top. I didn't even, who knew that the United Nations even had a party room like that with pink couches and all this stuff? And, they had a private room for some of the bigger people. Like, who knew? We wouldn't know because nobody just goes to the United Nations and says, hey, I want to have a party. I mean, Diane von Furstenberg came to our table and said, hi, girl. I mean, like, she came to our table. I mean, if you want to blog, I suggest you blog. Do a really great job at it. Really get involved in some opportunities because you never know the kind of crap you're going to get invited to. I'll put some links up. Continue to visit me at randomnista.com. Bye.